You will probably never see the best Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles adaptation on your screen for as long as you live. Why? Well, it's complicated, but here's what I do know. This is not what the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were supposed to look like.
Here's the pizza, dudes. Dig in.
Yeah, definitely not this. So, what were they supposed to be? How did this fail so spectacularly? And why was the most promising movie yet just quietly shelved? Likely forever. The Turtles IP is what happens when creators lose control of their creation's direction for better and for worse. And then somehow, it finds itself back on track.
Am I turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
When Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, conceived of this, it was meant to parody and also stand alongside more adult superhero stories of the 80s. They were meant to be closer to Daredevil, dark, gritty, and relatively grounded. The comic series they would create was black and white. It was moody and violent and played it pretty straight, dude. Pretty straight. It took absurdity seriously. It had actual stakes. See, they believed that the more ridiculous the concept, the more committed you have to be to the world and its characters. You have to buy in as writers. And they literally did. They got a loan from Eastman's uncle and started their own company in their home, Mirage Studios. They printed 3,000 copies of the first issue themselves, and the rest, well, the rest started with this.
What? Why wasn't I told?
Things are gonna start to change here. They're gonna change.
Then came the boom, the toys. A licensing deal with Playmates turned into a deal for the first adaptation of The Turtles. On December 8th, 1987, the animated show would premiere and a fracture that would never heal would occur. There are some that would tell you this show ruined the Turtles. It didn't. It was kinda awesome, but it changed the fabric of what the Turtles were. There were toys to sell now, dude. There was marketing to do, so no violence, simplify the characters, give them catchphrases, and go. This was Turtles for kids, but it did do a few things right. It gave the Turtles really well-defined personalities. It made the Turtles instantly understandable, massively scalable, and emotionally legible to audiences of all ages. It didn't try to adapt the Turtles, it translated them. And that sentence is going to be really important moving forward. And so
what do we do now?
What do you mean, what do we do now?
It's the 90s, baby. Oh yeah.
this is about as polarizing as an adaptation can get, and studios were worried. Warner Brothers turned down distribution of the film for fear of it failing. The goal was messy. Adapt the original comics, but keep the cartoon sensibilities. And it got weird, dude. Quentin Tarantino's editor actually got fired from this movie. That's not a good sign. But the costumes were real, with remote control faces designed by Jim Henson. This made the Turtles real, brought them into our world, the entire thematic foundation of their existence, by the way. And the movies were kinda great. Not masterpieces, surely, but they rode the line they wanted to ride. Animated slant it brought with it made sense. Remember that fracture in what the Turtles should be? Yeah, it sat right on top of it. It tried to honor both versions at once. The movie was visually dark, and it had its share of grit, especially with Splinter's origin flashback, and it was ugly and grimy. But it was also slapstick, and that mix of tones led to a fun, but to some, confused movie. But it had the heart of the Turtles. It put them first before everyone else. It not only knew who they were, but it cared about them. And at its core, this was a movie about brothers. Remember that. The movie made almost 20x its budget, and importantly, the creators viewed the movie as nearly perfect. But, well, all good things, you know.
What was that?
A fissure has occurred. A fissure has occurred. Remain calm. This was a disaster and a predictable one, but it was almost so much worse. By 2010, Eastman and Laird had both sold their primary stakes and control of the Turtles after almost 30 years. And immediately, bad decisions started being made. In 2012, Michael Bay announced his new movie would be titled just Ninja Turtles. And the movie would retcon their origin to make them from an alien turtle planet. And the internet? Well, they reacted as you probably expect.
Can confirm. We aliens are not. No turtles here.
So did the creators, with Peter Laird calling the plan ill-conceived. And he wasn't kidding. That year, a script titled The Blue Door would leak, and sure enough, interdimensional turtle warriors. The backlash was swift, and the movie would be delayed and delayed again, and rewritten, but it didn't matter. Because Michael Bay and these movies saw the fracture between the original comic version of the Turtles and the animated Turtles, and decided to abandon the fracture altogether. The Turtles got lost in Bay's pursuit of scale. Bigger was better to Bay. Realism, which ironically meant CG, meant credibility. So we got over-designed turtles, exposition-heavy mythology, and explosions. Over-explaining fantasy kills it, and it did, dude. But most importantly, it left the turtles behind. The humans here were placed front and center. They were treated as its emotional core. It wasn't the gritty version of Eastman and Laird. It didn't have the soul of the animation, and it didn't care enough about the turtles to even make them a part of the world, like the 90s film. TMNT doesn't need CG realism. It needs emotional logic that starts and ends with these characters' brotherhood, like this does.
Go-Gurt.
Okay, Batman.
This is where we're gonna get back on track here. Here we go.
The whiplash here is intense. Mutant Mayhem has a perfect understanding of what the Turtles are and why they exist. The movie is about them, about their bond, and it is proof that both the original version of the Turtles and the original animation can be modernized and translated for today's film goers, dude. The Turtles aren't just teens, they're literally teens here, and voiced by them too. There's improvised, almost retro-scripted dialogue that makes their relationships feel real. Their desire to fit in is baked into their dynamics. It doesn't chase nostalgia. It doesn't reject it though either. Mutant Mayhem is proof that you don't modernize a franchise by updating its aesthetics. You update behavior. It shows that the Turtles have life, an audience that is diverse in both age and number. The Turtles don't need to be milked with money. They need to be treated with care, to be given the chance to be different. Like Mutant Mayhem. That's the whole idea. So finally, here we are. There's this. And now, the samurai. The Last Ronin, a dark, grimy, extraordinarily violent return to the very base of the Turtles' roots, firmly on the Eastman and Laird side of the fracture. A samurai-inspired story from the creators themselves. This bloody, violent trek through a future dystopian New York is not just nearly pitch perfect, but also a look at what an IP can be when it's given the space to grow. To grow not sideways, but up. It's a story mostly about a lone surviving turtle, but uses that brotherhood as driving emotional weight. Different but the same. The bond at its emotional core. And there was hope. A live-action movie adaptation of Ronin was in the works until the success of Mutant Mayhem, after which it was quietly canceled. A studio once again learning the wrong lessons from success, dude. They reportedly want to Sonicify the Ninja Turtles. Homogenize them, treating one good thing like no others can exist alongside it. Ironic given the Turtles are built around the bond of four, and likely, eventually, cynically, dooming the IP to repeat the failures of the past when it should be celebrating a new renaissance of acceptance in its uniqueness. Trying more new things. The Turtles are beacons of light in the darkness. They always have been. A success story built on artistic vision and independence. A story of hope for those that feel different, that don't fit in. But most importantly, dude, they are proof that just like people, characters don't need to be shoved into a box forever. They can grow. That's what Eastman and Laird let them do. They let their turtles be a number of different, unique things and people. Which, by the way, is how the Turtles have always wanted to be treated. Like people. So let the Turtles be whatever creators want them to be. Samurai, beatboxing teens, pizza lovers. Just keep giving them to creators that care. That want to try to do something with them. And get out of their way.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Man, I love being a turtle.
I'm Dewey, and this has been